I've messed that up. That's all right. Update all. Okay. Now we're sending data. G'day, legends. G'day, superstars. It's Peps. It's Jdog. It's round 16. I haven't done an intro like that for quite a long time. Review. Massive week of AFL football. Hey, go on, big dog. Port Adelaide. Half flying. And Melbourne season is dying. And everything else is just A-OK in my world. Peps and Jdog, we're back again. 8th year. This is going to be a hard and fast review of a massive week. Only 7 games. Thank God. I'll tell you what, these bye rounds have gone on longer than the ending of third Lord of the Rings film. It's fucking fan. Can they just cut it to 2 weeks next year, please, Jdog? Please, please, please. How you going?
I'm well. Let's
You
do
good?
it.
All right, let's do it. Lots to get through, lots to chat about, and I want to get your opinion on a couple of key things, but we're going to start with, obviously, the one that we love, and that is the ladder. Have a look at this. Collingwood, 10 points at the top of the ladder. Like I say, premierships are not won in June, but they're set up for success. Brisbane Lions, 42 points. Adelaide Crows get into that beautiful third position. Geelong had the week off and still sit in the top 4, which is cracker. But have a look at this, Jdog. You got Hawthorn, who had a great win on the weekend. You have Fremantle, had a cracking win, pushed by the Saints over there. They're all on 40 points. Then you've got 3 teams sitting on 36. Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast Suns, keep in mind that Gold Coast still have a game up their sleeve, and the GWS Giants on 36. 10th and onwards is your mob on 28. Carlton on 24. Sydney on 24. They're too far back. They've left their run way too late. Essendon, look, their players don't even want to play for them anymore. They're just getting injured at training. Melbourne, they don't turn up. They're still stuck on daylight savings time. St Kilda, hey, they had a crack. That's all you can ask for. North Melbourne got another win, which was... Actually, no, they got pumped. I forgot about that. Richmond, they got pumped. And West Coast, they had a crack against Collingwood, but just couldn't serve it up. Thoughts, feelings, big fella, on what you saw on the weekend?
Nothing exceptional at all. The teams that were going to win won. The teams that were going to get beaten got pumped.
Yep.
Melbourne are terrible. Carlton are terrible. And Port Adelaide, regardless of how good you want to paint that, we're still 4 games out and huge percentage.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it might as well. Where did our results go? Where's our results, Jamie? We've lost our results. We'll get them back in just a minute. I agree wholeheartedly. I was looking at some of these games on the weekend, and a thing that caught my eye was the ones who won should have won did. The ones who were expected to lose did. And we're starting to get into the dead part of the season. This week, we've got the top 9 teams playing the bottom 9 teams. And if you have a look, they always say that, there's always a bit of what's the term I'm trying to find? An upset, etc. here and there. I can't see it, Jdog, at all. I cannot see it at all. I'm not too sure where it's going to come from. But I'm just slightly excited to see who is going to be able to clutch that 8th position, because there's only 9 teams in it. 9 times can start packing for Bali or the snow or Switzerland or wherever you want to go. But yeah, it's interesting the way that the AFL is setting themselves up at the moment, my friend.
All right, let's go through it from Thursday night.
All right, so Thursday night. Thursday night. Who was Thursday night again? Oh, that was Carlton and your mob, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
Tell us about it. You know you want to. Tell us about your mob. How excited were you?
Look, in terms of actual game, terrible. Terrible. Port, probably, the score says 50. It was an 100-point loss to Carlton. I don't know what is one positive that I can talk about Carlton. Port Adelaide, lots of them. But when you're playing a team that is playing so bad, you can't get excited about that. You can't go, wow, what a win. That was such a good pump up for the week. No, that was like watching me versus, I don't know, any elite sports person swimming or anything like that. It was
It was putrid.
Decimation.
It was
It was
just,
decimation.
there was nothing to absolutely get excited about at all.
No,
Nothing.
not even what Port did, because Port took it from one end to the other, and you're just like, yeah, because Carlton aren't trying.
I don't think Carlton are trying. I just think Carlton are no good. And I've said it, Jdog. They're just no good. Like they were putrid. I was at a soiree. So my son plays bass guitar, and they do a bit of a soiree a couple of times a year. Sit there, watch him play in front of a crowd. I was more excited to go to that, and I love my son playing his bass guitar because he has a crack. But I didn't even check the footy scores after about the first 10 minutes because it was just Port Adelaide just laid it on thick. And there was nothing from a Carlton perspective that made me want to tune in. I'll ask you a question. Who from Carlton gets you excited to watch? And what I mean is that Port Adelaide, you've got Butters. That gets you excited. I've got Cozzy Pickett from my perspective, all right? You've got the Wizard Watson at Hawthorn. Every club, I would say, has someone that they get a little bit excited about watching. Who would you say is their most exciting player at the moment? I couldn't tell you, buddy.
Orazio
when he plays. Like there is no one to make me go, I'm going to watch Carlton tonight because this guy is going to light it up. Even when Carlton look bad, this guy's good. There is no one. Absolutely. You have a look. By the way, Miles Bergman looking like he's going to be signing on for a couple more years, Jdog. You'll be very, very happy about that. But
certainly,
it was just, you have a look at the top 20 players from a ratings perspective. The first four were yours, Bergman, Butters, Asava. He had a good game, didn't he? And Connor. Then it was Zach Williams. Don't get excited about. George Hewitt. Don't get excited. Patrick Cripps. Don't get excited. Ollie Hollins, Cooper Lord, Nick Haynes. Like, there's no one there that makes you go, oh, I can't wait to watch him. And I don't even know, it's really disappointing. But can I just focus on your mob? Really, really excited what they've served up. They haven't been too bad. Did you get a feeling from watching the game on the weekend that Carr took the reins and Kenny just sat back a little bit?
Interesting in terms of positioning in the coaching box of where Kenny was versus Carr in the middle.
Yeah, because he didn't go down to the bench either. He sat up and took it easy.
He literally sat where players sit when they sit in the coaching box.
Yep. Yeah. And can I talk about... Can I also take back one other thing? Mitch Georgiades. How good was he? He should have had 10. He had 5. But I've said it for a while. You've got to give these key forwards time to mature, time to find their feet. And you did that. Because you remember a couple of years ago, he did his knee and then he wasn't looking too flash and what's going on with this bloke, etc. He's now got the body to play AFL. He's got confidence in his body. He's got the confidence in his capabilities and he deserves to be at the level. And I'm sitting back going, I know Melbourne had a big crack at him a couple of years ago, but I'm watching Mitch Georgiades and I'm going, tell you what, he is going to be, if he continues on this pathway, you have got something special there, because there was the goal that he kicked where he took it, he shimmied, bit of candy, then he shimmied again, and then he snapped it, and it was just like, oh, GG. Very, very, very nice. But yeah, very exciting. And it was a really, really good game by your mob. Can we get into the Friday night game, Sydney versus the Bulldogs? It actually wasn't a bad game. Like, I thought it'd be a bit of a blowout, but I will say Joel Frazier is making a lot of recruiters look very, very silly. Very silly. Because he is that perfect example of somebody who's come from completely nowhere and is just... He's that player that the doggies go, we just need that extra cog. We need that extra layer. We don't have to rely on Treloar. We don't have to rely on Libba. We don't have to rely on Bolt. We just need that fourth cog. And he has just taken it over immensely this year. And he had an absolute cracker of a game. He got the 10 coaches' votes. But what more could you ask from this guy? Like, he's doing everything he needs to. And the doggies are sitting back going, we don't have to rely on Trelaw getting him back in a hurry. They brought him in. They also brought in who they bring in from Carlton again? I keep forgetting his name. Oh, Matthew Kennedy. They're just doing everything right at the moment, and I think Kane Corns even said he thinks that they are the premiership favourites right now.
A hell of a call.
It is a big call.
Hell of a call.
I don't necessarily agree, but they're solid up forward. They're solid through the middle, and down back, they're solid. They haven't got many weaknesses. I reckon there may be one more solid full defender, but outside of that, they've got the run, they've got the pace, they've got the kicking ability, and they've got guys who can score tall and short. They are massive. And what is Sydney without Isaac Heaney?
Does Kane realise that Sydney have only won 6 games? We're round 17. Like, math ain't mathin'.
What do you mean?
Well, you got to get to 13 essentially these days to get yourself in top 8.
Yep.
The math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from.
He's basically saying that Sydney are going to go on an unbeaten run from now.
No, they can't do it.
After losing on the weekend.
No, they can't do it. They won't do it, and they can't do it. They've just left it to... They've left it... Pardon?
Kane.
Oh, I love Kane. I love his directness. Sometimes I'm thinking, all right, dude, you've pushed that button a few too many times. May want to go onto a different switchboard. But you can see if Sydney had this full complement of players from the start of the year. But I also think it's taken them a good half a season to get this new game plan down how Coxie wants it as well too. And Brodie Grundy, he's almost, funny enough, I know he's an All-Australian, but he's almost in career best form over the last 6 weeks. Like, they're always saying he might be even the All-Australian ruckman. I think that's pushed it a bit far. I think there's a couple other people in front of him, but he has been immense as well too. But what can't you say about Sam Darcy? Or what can't you say about this bloke, Jdog? Like, he comes out kicks the first couple for the game on the weekend. But the goal he kicked on the boundary, that was just, blokes who are 200 centimetres shouldn't be roving along the boundary line, take 2 looks into the centre and go, nah, screw this, I'll slot it. And slots it. Like, that's just embarrassing.
That's good.
It was awesome. It was great to watch. Yeah, I'm really excited for the doggies. If you get them on a dry deck, they love the spread. They love going through the middle. They do go both sides when they go into the forward line, and they are unpredictable. And I like them. And Sydney, I think it's going to leave their run too late. And what it's really going to cost them is draft picks, because the more they win, the higher they'll go. Can I just talk about the most disappointing game on the weekend?
Only if you say
yes
5 positive things before you go on a rant.
Okay. Gold Coast are awesome. They have got the best contested midfield in the league.
No, about your club. Think about them.
Oh,
you got 5 properties for your club.
Oh, okay. I love Jake Melksham. He kicked 5 goals, 6 on the weekend, Jdog. Jake the Snake. He's won games off his own boot, and I remember one of them was against Carlton. The other one was against Brisbane, the walkout game, which I missed the end of. He had 5 goals, 6 on the weekend. He's the only forward who looks like he can kick him. Cozzy Pickett, I'm wrapped that I got this bloke for 9 years. He is just going to get better and better. Whenever he gets it, he makes time staying still. But I just love everything about Gold Coast, and I'm so happy that they broke that 3-game losing streak, because I want them to play finals. I want to see what they can do on the big stage, Jdog. I really do. And just some of the ball going inside 50 was just laser like it was lace out. Ben King wanted his football like he wants his podcast. They were just they're in a really good spot. And Melbourne, well, I said it on Saturday night after I had to go to the chemist to get some medication for the severe sunburn that I got from them. That if I was Melbourne, I would say whoever wants to leave at the end of this year, you can go, and we'll see what we can get for it. If Petrarca wants to go, if Oliver wants to go, if May wants to finish up, if anybody wants to leave, and we can get something for them, let them go.
Love this. I'm
loving
this. You've gone full meltdown.
Oh, I have gone full meltdown because I think there's a lot of things that need to change at this club. It's been putrid. Their last 4 weeks have been really, and you can go back and say if they'd won that King's birthday game, whether it made a difference. I'm not too sure. How can you come off a bye and serve up what they did in that first quarter? They were on daylight savings time. They turned up an hour late, and they just tore. If they had kicked straight, it would have been a massacre. It could have been a hungy. It got down to 19, but yeah, there's and the other thing is that Goodwin is coaching for his career at the moment. He is not because if he was coaching for the club, he'd be putting these young kids into the middle, giving them a crack and going, we need to. But unfortunately, he keeps going back to the same well. There's no water in there. There's nothing to drink here. No water. Robbo, no water. But he keeps going back to the same ones, and yep, awful. But let's talk about something positive. Gold Coast. I just love everything about them. And I really, really hope they do something spectacular in the finals this year. Can they win a final? Yes. Can they win the flag? No. But stranger things have happened.
I think it's great. They're right now positioned with a game behind everyone else.
Yep.
9 wins, 6 rounds to go. 7 rounds ago. They're positioned well.
Yep.
Like they shouldn't miss from here.
No, they shouldn't. 7 rounds to go.
Oh,
9 rounds. 9 rounds. There's 9 rounds to go.
9.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 9 rounds.
Yeah.
9 rounds, and they've got one more, so they've got 10 games. So if they get on a bit of a streak, and they've got some games up there at People First, they can finish top 4. I just think that they need to beat a few more of those teams.
It's got 9 more rounds.
It's got 25 rounds. By the time you throw buys in, by the time you throw in the gather round, before you put in Uncle Job's bar mitzvah, we've just got all those rounds. All right.
We've got 9 weeks to go, Peps.
That's all right, mate. Well, no, you can hang up at any time. Hey, Hawthorn versus Melbourne. I've got something for you, buddy, and it's bags. We love it when they're kicking. Bags. It's got to be 6 or more. My God, Jack Gunston, 7 goals, 1. 7 goals. Jdog. The guy's pushing, 34? He's in career best form. He's sitting 6th on the Coleman. He is just out of his world. And I was so disappointed. I even picked North on the weekend. I really thought they'd be able to do something with this. And it was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. We had Dr. Jekyll North last week, and now we got Mr. Hyde this week. They're just too unpredictable. It really is disappointing. Really disappointing. What I will also say, though, it was good to see Nick Larkey kick 5 on the weekend. He's just been lacking a nice little handful. But Hawthorn did what they had to do. They didn't just win. They punished them hard on the weekend. And you have a look at their goal kickers, and I think this is the thing that makes me a little bit excited, was their goal kickers was a really nice spread. You had Gunston kicked his 7. Marby Old Chol, we've spoken about him how many times so far this year, Jdog? He kicked his 5. So he's not just there for the headbands and the dreadies. He's there as a genuine target who can kick goals. You had Nick Watson kick his 3. Ginnivan kicked his 2. Max Ramsden and Connor McDonald had 3 and 2 themselves. So they're spreading it out a little bit as well too. And then North, unfortunately, it was just on the shoulders of Larkey. And they just couldn't get any momentum, unfortunately. He was their main goal kicker. Their only player who kicked goals who was in their top 20 players, rated players on the weekend. So that just goes to show how bad they were. It was like everything that could have gone bad for North did. And then you had Clarkson coming out and saying, well, when you have 2 straight games in Perth, etc. But, well, you sold them off. You can't play that card if you've rigged the hand for it to be like that too. So, it wasn't a game. The only people who'd watch this were Hawthorn supporters. There was nothing about this game that would get you excited, except, I haven't said this, but I like what the Wizard, I'll call him the Wizard because it's easy. I like what Nick Watson is doing, not just up forward, but around the ground. He's great hands. The way he takes it out of the middle, he's got pace. He does make good decisions and does lead hard when he's making options as well too. So he's better than what I thought he would be at this stage of the year. So I'm starting to like his way. I still don't think he's the wizard.
Starting to come around.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around. I still don't think he's the wizard. There's only one wizard. We know that's Jeff Farmer.
You were anti-wizard.
I was anti-wizard.
You were anti-magic on this podcast.
Yeah, I don't like magic, but I just like what he's been serving up a little bit as well too. I think he's showing he's more than just an opportunist. I think he's.
You're saying he's a real footballer.
No, he's a real footballer, but he's got more arrows in his quiver than just the one that makes you get the opportunity goal. But North, just disappointed. Collingwood, West Coast. This wasn't actually a bad game for the first half, and then Collingwood basically woke up.
I have no more words to describe the amount of avenues to goal that Collingwood possesses.
Yep.
Zero.
They are they just I don't know. They just dazzle me in everything that they do. Collingwood. They are so system driven, and I hate system based football. Can't stand it because I feel sometimes it takes out the flair and the inner creativity out of the game. But they could be a man down, and it could be some no-name just jump straight in, and they're able to dominate. And if you have a look at like who kicked their goal, like who kicked goals on the weekend, right? So 2 for Mychik, 2 for Memory, 2 for Lipinski, Lockie Sullivan, Charlie West, Dacos, Elliott, Houston, Hoskin Elliott, Scott Pendlebury. 10 goal kickers. 10 goal kickers. You need to have such a spread. Many, many years ago, it would have been Plugger, 15. Robert Harvey, 1. That's like what it used to be. Now is the biggest spread that you can have. And it's very rare that you see Collingwood players kick more than maybe 3 or 4 in a game because they just spread outside of JB Elliott because he's just amazing. But they just spread it out so often. They just spread it so much better than anybody. And I hate watching them. They are just great to watch. Really good to watch.
Pendles is still going around at one of the second best players on the field behind Dacos on the weekend.
Yep.
I'm
jealous.
Phenomenal.
I am jealous. I'm just jealous. He's going to break the games record. They won't do what they did to Harvey and just retire him. Harvey could have gone around another year. He wasn't exactly having someone holding him out of the team. He's just getting better because he knows this is all I have to do. I just have to extract. I have to kick it. I've got people who can get the run on. I've got people. I can be a director. I can be a coach out there. He's a little bit like the Watson. I'm really starting to appreciate a lot more of what he's serving up. Even though we've loved the way he's played footy over the years, but I'm just really appreciating what he's doing. It's just, I know, Jamie, I'm changing.
You're going to go for Collingwood?
Well, don't go that far.
Just barrack for them, Peps.
No.
Do you know what, Peps? What? You are a grown man. You can make your own decisions, and you can barrack for whoever you want to barrack for. You don't have to have this trauma that you've accepted because your parents told you who to barrack for.
No, mate. Listen, doesn't work like that, Jdog. It does not work like that.
Peps, you are a big man and you can make big man decisions.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. But no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking with the Ds. Always sticking with the Ds. That's my job. But West Coast, I want to see more of what they served up on the weekend. They didn't get the win, but I want to see more of that type of West Coast. If that makes sense. That's the type of West Coast I want to see. So it's not all doom and gloom. Should Harley Reid stay? I reckon it's such a tough one. They're going to get another number 1 draft pick. I get that. The other thing I'll look at is they're going to get some stuff for Oscar Allen as well too. So I think that they've got plenty of things to be excited for. Hey, Rich,
I reckon he stays.
What's that?
I reckon he stays.
You reckon he stays? Yeah.
I reckon he stays. and he becomes the player they build around, like a Matty Rao.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, so good to see him get an extra 2 years as well, too, because it was just, yeah, I get excited when players come back and just stay. And so when he stays, it's simply, it's simply exciting. What's exciting? Adelaide. This is the Adelaide that we've spoken about over the last couple of years starting to come, aren't they? Like back into the season, and Daniel Curtin, it's been just sort of, is he going to make it? Is he not going to make it, etc., so forth. You're not too sure. He comes out and just has probably the game of his career on the weekend, Jdog. What more could you ask for? But even like Curtin, Philthorpe, Dawson, Dawson, McIlerney, Smith, Keane, Berry, like they were the top player rated players, and there was a couple of Richmond ones in there too. So they just, Adelaide did what they had to do, and yeah, it's Richmond just go, you know what, they're just too much. They're just so much better than us. There's not much that they can do. They are really
full rebuild.
Yeah, they are in full rebuild, but they know where they are. Adelaide, they've gone through that hard times. They've brought in a couple of the players from GWS, and it's just bolstered everything. They've just got stronger. They've just got thicker. The bodies have had an extra preseason to them. I am thinking that they could make a prelim. I reckon they could make a prelim. They've got the firepower up forward. Their midfield's ticking along nicely. If Rankin can get into a little bit more form, because he hasn't had the greatest season, but if he could maybe dial it up a notch or two towards the back end, they're looking good. They are really looking good. And
well, they're moved to the third position on the ladder.
Yeah, well, that you can only beat who's in front of you. Like my mate said, we were talking about Melbourne. Sorry, talking about Hawthorn, and he said, Hawthorn, how good are we? Look, sitting fourth on the ladder, and they said, one of my mates comes back and says, well, look, they haven't really beaten anyone above them. He said, well, there's only 3 other teams. So he's got a good point, but he hasn't beaten really anyone of note, Hawthorn. So let's just wait and see what happens with this one. And funny enough, I keep talking about the graveyard shift game. It wasn't exactly, 6 feet under taker type of work, but that Fremantle St Kilda game, that was a beautiful one to sit back with the roast chicken dinner that I had for tea last night and just watch. It was a really nice, are St Kilda going to do this? Yeah. Are they really going to do this, Jdog? Because they had no right to go over there and even get close. But they were good. They were really good. And the one that stood out for me, Jdog, is the Flying Viking. How good was he down back? Like Alex Taru, I could picture, it would almost gave me a bit of a short-haired Paul Vanderhaar floating around, or a little bit shorter, a little bit more aggressive Nick Rewalt running around. It was just his contests, his spoils. Yeah, he's that was a great pick. They're going to be, you were talking about building a team around Reed. They can build a team around this guy, solidify him at centre half back. He is so exciting. But St Kilda, they're not the worst. And if you think they might keep Wanganeen Malera and get TDK in there, they're still going to have to cut some stuff out the back end. But they're starting to get a bit of a group of these young kids, and maybe they can move on to a couple of these names that haven't really sort of been the stocking fillers for the last couple of seasons. But yeah. Sorry.
No, I agree.
Luke Jackson. How good is he? How good is he? How good is he? Jordan Clark. How good is he?
Yep.
Just love it. Josh Tracy. How good is he? Like it was just nice to see Jacko take the game on, and that last mark that he took, like that was a joke. That last one over Wilkie, where he literally went over his head and took the ball, and Wilkie's just down the old, what can I do? They'd won the game anyway, but it was just really, really nice to see. I think he's, it's really, really exciting. Really, really exciting. And Freo, they could make a charge. They could make a charge. They would want to finish 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to play outside of Optus Oval for a final. So they will want to finish 5th or 6th. If they finish 3rd or 4th, that's okay. They get the double chance. They'll end up playing a game over in Perth. But yeah, if they need to finish 5th or 6th if they really want to stand out and continue that slick ball movement, that fast ball movement that has sort of been a hindrance to them over the last number of years. Rightio, big boy. Let's have a look. Rising star time. Have a look at this bloke. Clay Hall. What a name. Clay Hall. 22 disposals, 4 marks, 4 tackles in the game that we just spoke about on the weekend when West Coast took on Collingwood. They weren't too bad. Rightio. What's this guy? Jdog. So, tell everybody, for the people listening at home or watching us live or watching the stream post,
Yes.
Jdog, tell us about your new little segment, which is going gangbusters.
So it is, what would they be doing if they weren't playing AFL football? What occupation would they have?
All right. So what are you looking at Clay Hall? If you just close your eyes if you're in the car at the moment. Actually, don't close your eyes if you're in the car right now. Couldn't afford it happening. But he's strong man. He's got a bit of a flatty toppy, blondie, little bit of a sexy mo like Jdog, tats on the forearms, very tanned, freckles everywhere. So if you had to sort of picture this guy in a job outside of AFL football, what would Clay Hall be?
I'm going to go with, and because it's a West Coast player, I'm going to go with a front of house hospitality worker, but specifically working in a brewery or somewhere like that. So he's got the little mo, which is very on trend at the moment. He's got the kind of the cut short, blondie mullet, so blondie hair, which has got regrowth through it, and he just screams to me as someone who would love to wear a check shirt and a denim apron.
I'd go maybe leather apron.
Leather, yeah, it could be leather, but is a real front of house person in a brewery in a restaurant setting.
Well, mine's a little bit similar to this, and I'm going the hair and the mustache, but the forearm tats. I could see this guy having his own boutique barbershop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be one of the, Hairs Are Us that you go to or the Golden Fade or whatever around the areas. This guy would have his own. He'd be in a shirt. He'd be in a tie. He'd be in a vest. He would have the leather apron.
Yep.
Very, very bespoke shop. Proper leather back seats. You can have a scotch you can have a scotch or a wine.
Okay. He's got a bar.
He's got a bar. He's got a bar. He can sit down on the Chesterfields while you're waiting for him, and he would be an old school barber. He'd get the cutthroat out. He'd give you a shave, warm towel on the face. He'd massage it. He would be everything. I can just see him having that, and then just after he's done, sitting back and having a good old chat, reading the paper.
Is he a barber that operates on a walk-ins only process, or you can do online booking?
I think you can do a bit of both, but I reckon that he'd be booked out for a few weeks. He just has that type of, and he wouldn't be cheap. Like we're talking 60, 70 buck haircuts, this bloke, minimum.
How many chairs in his salon, or is he just running a one-chair system?
He's running a two-chair system.
Yep.
Because he does occasionally have guest barbers come in.
Guest barbers.
Barbers come in, but he just knows that, and it's the name, Clay Hall.
What's his work hours?
His work hours?
Is he a Friday night late operator?
Yeah, he's a Friday night late operator. He takes advantage of the businessman. So he starts early, but takes advantage of the businessman needing to go to meetings early, looking Mickey Mouse, but also late nights as well. So if people are going out on the weekend or they've had a couple of Britney Spears down at the pub, he can also go in for a bit of a as well too. But I reckon people need to go in and book with Clay because he has, he's got a reputation. And then once he's done, he takes a photo and does a bit of an Insta, but a classy Insta. Doesn't talk. It's all recorded.
Monday, Tuesday off?
Yep. Sunday, Monday. Yep. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. Or Sunday, Monday he works. Tuesday, Wednesday off. Works in the late weekend.
Oh,
as well.
midweeker.
Yeah, he's a midweeker. He has to work Mondays. Has to work Mondays for the crowd. We need to look Mickey Mouse for the business negotiations.
All right.
Simple as that.
What would his barbershop be named?
It would be the Hall of Fades.
Oh, that's good.
The Hall of Fades. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it's not
Like
bad.
it.
Not bad, that one. Rightio. Jdog, let's get into this week's games. Moving up. Finally, can you believe we're actually going to have a full round of games this weekend? The problem that we've got, though, is that a lot of these games are going to be top 9 versus bottom 9 as well, too.
It's unfortunate.
So let's just go through this and see if we've got any surprises coming our way. All right. 7:30 at Marvell Stadium, North versus Western Bulldogs on Thursday night.
0.
Carlton versus Collingwood, Friday, July 4th, 7:20 p.m, MCG.
Even more 0.
West Coast versus GWS, Friday, July 4th at 8:20 p.m. Ooh, we've got a Tasmanian here, double header.
I hate these Friday night double headers. I'm going to say no.
No. Essendon Gold Coast at Marvell Stadium. If Essendon can get a team together, Saturday, July 5 at 12:35.
This is the kind of bullshit that Gold Coast Suns will drop. Surely not this week.
Not this week. Nah. Geelong Richmond at GMHBA Stadium. Just goes to show Richmond are no good. Why? Because now they're scheduling down at GMHBA. Brisbane Port Adelaide at the Jabba the Hutt. No chance.
In the bin.
St Kilda versus Hawthorn at Marvel Stadium, 7:40 p.m. How many games? We've got 4 games. Adelaide Fremantle SCG. Sydney Fremantle, sorry, SCG.
Maybe Sydney.
They'd have to be a very, very good Sydney and a very bad Fremantle. And Adelaide versus Melbourne to finish off the weekend. Take the kids to the pictures, I reckon.
You are a big man. You can make big choices, and you can choose another team.
I would never, ever leave. Would you leave the Tarps?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it.
I mean,
too.
At the same time, I look over at Geelong and Collingwood and just think, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be great, but you know what? All good things come to an end, and it will come to an end. One day, it will come to an end. And we're all just going to sit back and go, we told you it was going to happen. It wouldn't happen overnight, but it would happen.
I'm potentially, like, other than when I was, 18, seeing my team win a premiership, I could genuinely not see my team win a premiership ever again.
No, they will. One day. It's only, look, Jdog, it's only been 21 years. It's only been 21 years, mate. It's only been 21 years.
We're not Carlton levels.
No, not
We're
yet.
not St Kilda levels.
Not in 60s. Oh, Jesus.
I
know.
But I have to accept that reality for my club.
You know what makes it even worse? When your club wins one and you can't even go to it. That is even worse.
Just imagine if you actually had MCC eligibility and you couldn't do it. That would be worse, surely. Because you can just now get a ticket.
I just have to walk up. Grand final day, take a seat. I don't care where it is. Me and the Love Machine. We're going to get absolutely blasted.
So just imagine if that was a Melbourne game and you had full eligibility and you couldn't go anyway. And that was your first year.
Yeah. Sucks. I don't know. Yeah, it's look, it is tough.
Would you have got tickets?
I would have got tickets, yeah.
You would have somehow got tickets?
Yeah, I would have got tickets. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got I would have got tickets somehow and gone and enjoyed us being down by 3 goals at the 19-minute mark of the third quarter, and then you'll see Jack Viney
just doing Gorney things.
And then no, it wasn't Gorney. It was Fritchie doing doing Fritchie things, and it was Wacko Jacko in the middle.
That's right.
3 goals in 3 goals in a minute. Boom shakalaka. And just the look on Adam Trelaw's face, and who's their ruckman? Tim English's face, as if to say, what just happened? I love that.
Yep. Because Bont was ripping and tearing.
He was R&T'ing. He was Hendo Rick. at that particular
was.
moment in time. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the not being able to get the tips out recently. Just had a few things, unfortunately, with the family. Nothing that you guys need to worry about, but that's just unfortunately taken up priority. Work's been cactus as well too, so unfortunately that takes a priority, and trying to slot them in makes it a bit difficult at times, but I'll try to get them in tomorrow evening for you. More importantly, Jdog, I will ask this one question. The final 8, we speak about it regularly. Is it going to change? And I think we've been saying no. There's literally only one team that can get in who's outside at the moment. Is the final 8 going to change? And if it's not going to change, if the answer is no, and I'll just put it up on the screen again for you. If the answer is no, is the order of the top 8 going to stay the same?
The order will absolutely change. In terms of the top 8, it's only GWS from here.
Yep. And who's out?
I can see the Bullies climbing. There's a big cluster in the middle of the ladder in the top 8 on 40 points. And I reckon Western Bulldogs are going to cause some upset in this last half of the year.
I'm looking at this, and there's one team, I'm just having a look to see if it's susceptible or not. Oh, their run's pretty... Oh, that's going to be a toughie. I should win that. Oh, I should win that. Do you know the team that I'm looking at that might... If things don't go to plan? Hawthorn. You have a look at their last number of games. They play Collingwood, they play Brisbane, they play Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got the top 3 there. They do have they play Port, who aren't playing too bad footy. They do play Melbourne as well, which, you know, count that as a win. So they've got a couple of easier ones, but playing 1, 2, and 3, and I think most of those are away as well. Not going to be the easiest run home. So I can see teams below them jumping over that 40-point realm. And we reckon you need 13 to make it. I think you might need 14 this year. I think you're going to need 14 to make it.
Well, I said 13 as a minimum.
Yeah, 13 a minimum, 14 is a guarantee. But what is guaranteed is that was your round 16 review. Peps and Jdog bringing you the Lace Out podcast, just how you want it. Big fella, we will be joining next Monday night. It is going to be a belter, round 7. We'll see if there's been any upsets. More importantly, any questions that you have, drop them on the Facebook page. Any questions, you can even drop them on the Spotify page as well too. But we're going to be here next week. We've only got a number of weeks before we get into the big sorts, the finals. But yeah, looking really forward to the back end of the footy season. There's going to be upsets. There's going to be tanking. There's going to be draft picks. Oh, it's going to be exciting. Jdog, great to have you on board again. Thank you very, very much. And how do you want your footy, big boy?
Let's out.
Oh, he never gets it wrong. He never gets it wrong. He's that good. Have a great week, listeners. See you then.
See you, listeners.
He's so hot. He's just amazing.